She sat on the bench of the highest court in the land, a needle still threading through her recovery, and she worked, not despite the pain, alongside it. 5 times, illness came for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. 5 times, she returned to her desk. The question worth sitting with is not how she survived. It is how she refused to let suffering become her identity. The Stoics called it the discipline of the ruling faculty, the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the body may be struck, but the mind that governs the self need not be. The Bhagavad Gita carries the same river in different words. Act from your deepest nature, not from the noise of circumstance. Pain is weather. The self is the mountain beneath it. Ginsburg was not performing toughness. That is the part most people miss. She was a woman who had spent decades being told that her presence was inconvenient, her ambition excessive, her body a liability. She had learned long before the diagnoses came that the world would always offer reasons to stop. Colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, rib fractures, more. Each time, the world held its breath. Each time she returned. Not because she felt no pain. The physical record suggests she felt enormous pain. But she had separated, somewhere deep in her practice of living, the fact of suffering from the meaning she gave it. 3 things live in this. First, pain is not the same as defeat. The Stoics drew a hard line between what happens to us and what we do with it. Ginsburg drew the same line in ink, in opinions, in dissents read aloud in a voice still steady from a hospital bed. Second, purpose is a kind of medicine, not a cure. But the ancient teachers across every tradition noticed that people with a reason to rise tend to rise. The work was not a distraction from her illness. It was the ground she stood on. Third, you do not have to feel strong to act with strength. This is perhaps the most quietly radical teaching. Courage is not the absence of exhaustion. It is the next sentence written anyway. Here is the practice. When something difficult arrives, before you decide what it means, pause. Take 1 breath. Ask only, what is the next right action, however small? Not the whole mountain, 1 step. The ancient teachers did not ask us to be unmoved. They asked us to keep moving. If this brought you a moment of stillness, subscribe and walk this path with us. The mountain does not argue with the storm. It simply remains. And in remaining, it outlasts every season that tried to define it.